This is a UH-60 Mike model Black Hawk, and the UH-60 is a utility helicopter. The UH-60 is probably one of the most versatile aircraft in the Army, and it can conduct mission from ranges of air assault operations in combat, which we can take fully loaded combat soldiers in air assault missions onto the battlefield. And then we can turn around and pick up logistical supplies from sling loading water, pallets or MRE pallets, or ammunition to help resupply soldiers. We can do medevac missions, which is picking up casualties on the battlefield, delivering to the medical treatment facilities, which has drastically increased the survivability on the battlefield.
Number 1 and number 2 battery utility bus circuit breakers are in.
The Black Hawk helicopter crew includes 2 pilots. To fly it, the pilots must use both hands and feet. The helicopter's superior maneuverability comes with complexity. The key to understanding how to fly a Black Hawk or any helicopter starts at the hub.
The hub is a central portion of the rotor system. It's the part where all 4 rotor blades hook together.
The hub or rotor disc tilts to give the helicopter directional flight and is controlled by the cyclic.
This is the cyclic. This provides us directional control, either at a hover or in a cruise flight mode. With a cyclic, I'm actually tilting the rotor disc in the direction that I'm pushing the cyclic. So therefore, if I'm at a hover and I move the cyclic to the right, then the aircraft rotor disc is going to tilt to the right and I'm going to drift to the right. If I push the cyclic forward, the rotor system is going to tilt forward, the aircraft is going to go into a descent, and I look outside and the houses on the ground are actually getting bigger because I'm getting closer to the ground.
To control the lift or thrust of the helicopter, the pilot uses the collective.
The flight control that I have in my left hand here is called the collective. And it's called the collective because it collectively puts blade pitch angle into all 4 rotor blades at the same time. The more pitch I want in the rotor blade, the higher I pull the collective.
The pitch angle determines how fast the helicopter will lift off the ground in a hover, or how fast it will fly in flight. A 0 angle will produce 0 lift. As the pitch increases, the blades will push more air downward, resulting in greater lift. Once in the air, the pilot pushes the cyclic forward to start the helicopter in a forward direction. As the pilot flies the aircraft, he uses the tail rotor to keep the nose of the helicopter pointing forward.
The purpose of that tail rotor is to provide thrust in the opposite direction of the main rotor turning so that we can maintain our directional flight.
Since the main rotor system turns counterclockwise, there's an equal and opposite reaction that forces the fuselage clockwise. The tail rotor counters that. It works the same way as the main rotor in that its blades increase pitch to gain thrust. To maintain a pitch that will keep the helicopter moving forward, the pilot uses his feet to control the tail rotor.
If I push left pedal, then that causes the nose of the helicopter to turn left. And then I use counter pressure on the opposite pedal to stop that motion.
The Black Hawk has 2 crew chiefs who are responsible for everything that happens from the cockpit back.
We have 2 crew members that sit in the back of the aircraft, and they're predominantly crew chiefs and door gunners. And they assist with the loading and unloading of the aircraft. We're a utility helicopter, so we want to get in and get out, and the door guns are predominantly there to assist in the suppression of the enemy and provide area coverage.
The UH-60M Black Hawk helicopter is the successor to the old UH-1 Huey from the Vietnam War. The Hueys became the workhorses of the military, and much like the Black Hawks, filled many different roles. They evacuated wounded soldiers, transported troops, dropped supplies, and were even used as gunships. But while the Huey pilots flew using only visual references on the ground and maps, Black Hawk pilots fly with state-of-the-art instruments.
This aircraft really takes the technology we have in the civilian sector and moves Army aviation into the 21st century. It really does 2 things. It increases our situational awareness so that when we have the moving map displays, it's very easy for an aviator to know where he's at and what's going on the battlefield, whether it's an enemy situation that's graphically depicted or the GPS technology of knowing his exact location at all times.
Along with modern navigation systems, the Black Hawk incorporates an onboard autopilot system known as a flight director. It allows the helicopter to fly itself.
You actually control the airspeed, altitude, heading, or course, make the aircraft fly a flight plan with the flight director and never touch the conventional flight controls. That reduces the pilot